G'day, and happy feast of St. Clare. In terms of our discussion this week on conversion, renewal and reform, the example and inspiration of St. Clare, the Franciscan, is a great opportunity to ask, what does radical voluntary poverty teach us about how to be members of a Christ-centred church who are open to this conversion, renewal and reform? As Father Gonzo outlined yesterday, a conversion means a turning around or a change of heart. This turn or change is from former ways to new life in the Lord, as we hear in Romans. With all the challenges of the past year, we've had many opportunities to consider this in terms of our own lives. As drought, bushfires and extreme weather conditions become more common, we realise that our baptismal calling is away from indifference and turning towards God's mission of love to the whole of creation. As we go through the process of converting our way of life at a very practical level, including physical distancing measures and directives from the health ministers, we realise that there's a bigger goal in mind with all these small conversions. In the same way, the giving up of things through voluntary poverty and fasting, like St. Clare did, reminds us that conversion is always done with something bigger in mind. Conversion is also something we do to ourselves before we can do it to others. Building on the previous themes for the plenary council that we've discussed over the past weeks, we should therefore recognise that in every context, Christian believers and communities must be evangelised before evangelising, must listen before proclaiming, and must be converted before proposing the way to others. The experience of poverty or detachment is one such experience of conversion, which affects us by conditioning us for mission and also is an act of mission itself. In the Gospel we're invited to read today, we hear the account of Jesus saying that those who give up all those things of apparent value in the world will be sure of eternal closeness with God. If we can convert ourselves by letting go of those things that do not lead us to God, we have a promise that our lives will end up in such a way that we are wholly converted to God. It's this conversion that we can take heart in the inspiration of St. Clare in her voluntary and radical poverty as an example of our lives of conversion, renewal and reform.